Hi, I'm Happy Camper, and I want to show you a way how to connect a Steam controller with a GameCube. Also how to remap the buttons so that you can actually use the controller. So why would you do this? An original GameCube controllers, they are aging and dying. Even if you have a working one, you might not be comfortable with one. So why not use one of your modern controllers, the ones with Bluetooth? The ones that you already have at home. So, how are we doing this? How am I doing this? I recently got a BlueRetro adapter from RetroScaler, which fits into the GameCube's ports. So, BlueRetro is a Bluetooth controller adapter for various retro game consoles. And yeah, to use it, simply put it into one of the GameCube's ports. Then the LEDs should indicate it is ready to pair. But before connecting the Steam controller, first we need to check on something. We need to check first the firmware on both the Steam controller and the BlueRetro adapter. If you already updated your Steam controller's firmware sometime in the past, and it's still on the most recent firmware, then you should be good. And you could skip this section. Most likely. You probably don't need an update on the BlueRetro adapter, but yeah, if something doesn't work, you should better do so. Skip ahead in the video to the next chapter if you're confident. If not, come back. All right, for updating the Steam controller, visit the link in the description. In general, I'll put all the mentioned links in there. On this Steam support page, you'll download and extract the zip file. Then run the indicated batch file while the Steam controller is plugged in with a micro USB to USB cable in your PC. By the way, this probably only works on Windows since it's a batch file. Also, a hint, if the update fails, consider using a different micro USB cable, because that was also a problem for me. Considering the BlueRetro firmware, so for the adapter, there is another link, of course. You plug in the adapter to the GameCube and you turn the GameCube on. No need to do anything on the GameCube. The adapter just needs the power. And then we use the config page, the same one that we'll use in the later section, blueretro.io. Keep in mind, this will only work on Windows with a Chrome browser. So we go into OTA FW update, so the firmware update, connect to the adapter via Bluetooth, and then there should be a link to the itch.io page with the firmware download. Choose the one you want. The newest one right now is version 2504, and it should be HW1, so hardware 1, I guess that stands for. It will let you know when applying the update if you took the wrong flavor. So if you took HW2. So you select this file, you download it in the blueretro.io, and then press update firmware and wait a few minutes. Then next step is connecting the Steam controller with BlueRetro. That is very straightforward. Just press the Steam plus the Steam and the Y buttons at the same time. After a few seconds, it should be paired with BlueRetro. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure that your Steam controller dongle isn't plugged in somewhere else while you're doing this. All right. Then finally, mapping the buttons. So visit the blueretro.io site, which only works on Windows and Chrome and your Chrome browser. Go to presets config and press connect to the adapter. Once connected, select the preset DC FPS for Steam Control Lizard for your output and save. We're done here, so we go back to index, enter the advanced config and connect again. Scroll down to the mapping config. For the source label, you have to use keyboard. For the destination label, it's GameCube. Now I have to show you how the Steam controller is mapped in the so-called lizard mode. Take a look at the image. D-pad and analog stick is, for instance, arrow keys. The A button is enter, B button is escape. X and Y buttons are not used, which is a shame because we cannot map a key this way. So to continue with this, on the left column, source, you put the keys from the Steam controller. So, for instance, A button is enter. Then you put your desired controls in the second column, destination. Yeah, you have the example on screen with my config, how I use it. Also, another thing to mention, the D-pad on the Steam controller doesn't do any diagonal input. For that, you will have to use the analog stick, which is the same mapped thing. It's both are mapped with the arrow keys on the keyboard, so they will have the same controls in the GameCube as well. And that's it, to keep it short. All right, and yeah, that was it. My motivation for this guide was the lack of useful explanation how to map the Steam controller with BlueRetro. Therefore, I had to find out myself over a couple of days, and to spare you the effort, I decided to do this guide. By the way, there are BlueRetro adapters for many retro consoles, so you can use your Steam controller, or actually also other modern Bluetooth controllers. There's a list in one of the links. And yeah, use those too. So have fun gaming and see you around. Bye bye.